Last week, President Muhammadu Buhari forwarded a list of 27 resident electoral commissioner nominees to the Senate for confirmation. Hopes were high that this government was sailing in the right course. Today, the Senate sent a shocker to everyone when it said it would not confirm them until Mr. President sacks Ibrahim Mustafa Magu as the acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. It said some persons appointed by Mr. President are disrespectful to the Senate. In simple language, the Senate is holding Nigeria to ransom. Will President be able to achieve anything with the 8th Senate? It came as just like a root shock now. And let's start from last week, where the Senate President, said he was quoted out of context, according to the spokesman of the Senate, that where it was said that it threatened to, shut Nigeria down, that to make sure that it frustrates the government. And they came with a rejoinder to say that no, that is not what they said, that they didn't say so. The Senate spokesman actually said that actually issued a rejoinder. The Senate President too issued a rejoinder. With this action, Jide, can you read between the lines?
It is clear that they are on a mission to embarrass the government and to make life unbearable for this administration. I've been saying it that what we have is a very hostile Senate, a Senate that is guilty of legislative rascality, a Senate made up of an ample quantity of jesters. They do what they like, and they turn themselves to tin gods. People who in any way can be described as constituting the best of us are in that Senate. People who are moral midgets, they are in that Senate. Suspected pedophiles are in that Senate. People who are being tried for corruption, some of the most corrupt individuals to ever walk the face of the earth, are in that Senate. I've said it repeatedly that they do not represent me. I don't know about you people. I've said they do not represent me. Every time that we talk about these people here, I say clearly that they do not represent me because I demand something better from people who should represent me.
I agree with you in totality with the action of Honorable Senator Dino Melaye to the Senate today. By wearing that academic gown to the Senate today. We were talking about jesters. Now I agree with you.
They are jesting at their own detriment.
Dino has shown that his brain has to be recalibrated, because I do not see how. First, he does not even act his age. Because if my son, my eldest son, who is 14, chooses to behave like that, I will say, well, he has not reached that age when you will say his character has been fully formed. Because a 14-year-old is not an adult. But once you are 21, your character is fully formed. Character reformation becomes extremely difficult. No matter what we do, put Dino in a room, get all the pastors in the world,
or the imams.
The imams in the world, with ample quantity of anointing oil, and begin to pray for him. We try to deliver him from his self-inflicted burden. I can tell you that Dino will come back the next day and still behave the same way. You see? So I choose not to watch the funny because it's a personal shame. It's a personal shame because you people, now, before we start talking now, you will say it's my senator. It's a personal shame. I choose not to watch that video because why am I watching the video? I've seen worse things. That I was telling someone the other day that Dino is the apostle of unprovoked dancing. Unprovoked dancing, because you ask yourself, what is he dancing for? He's dancing because he imagines and is asking himself that, God, how did I get here? Because he knows he does not deserve the position that he has found himself. Of all the things that the VC from ABU said, I think I picked something. Even if I don't believe all the entire story, he said that he came away with a third class. People of Kogi State, especially from the Yoruba-speaking part, even the Ebiras of Kogi State, they are known for their academic brilliance. And then we have someone representing us who managed to come away with a third class after several years in the university. Because we've been told that he spent much longer time than others spent. So these are the kind of people. I guess there are other people in that Senate who do not talk as much as Dino talks, but who are probably even worse than him.
But they push him forward.
Yes, they always use him like an attack dog. So he's the one who does the dirty job for them. He's the water carrier of the Senate. So I guess there are even others who are worse than him, but they don't get to talk like him. Dino does not think about posterity. He does not think about giving himself immortality, except in the negative sense. Because you can only give yourself immortality by working for the people, by doing great things. Nobody will forget Awolowo because he gave himself true immortality. And I'm saying that the Senate that we have now, led by Buki, let people go back and remember all that I said about this guy. I'm not surprised that this thing is happening. When we talk about this, sometimes people will say, oh, look, you are heavy-handed, you are this. Have we not been proven wrong that the president will not achieve anything with this Senate? Have we not said it repeatedly on this program?
That's why
are we not seeing it now?
Yes, I wanted to ask Olayinka that a lot of people will say the 9th of June 2015, that's like it's a day.
The Ides of June.
Yes. That is that particular day that President Muhammadu Buhari spelt, what is going to be like a failure to his government with the
emergence.
Yes.
The emergence of
it's kind of
an
the
enemy.
attitude which he put up during that particular. A lot of people will tell you that former President Olusegun Obasanjo is more interested in who becomes the Senate President, who becomes his House of Representatives, because he knows that these are his allies, the people that we have to work together.
Exactly.
That's why they were always changing Senate President, they were always changing, speakers of House of Representatives.
See, with the benefit of hindsight now, some of us are beginning to think that time when we were criticizing Obasanjo for wanting to put a stooge as the Senate President or the House of Rep Speaker and all that.
It's to forestall things like this.
It's to forestall things like this. When President Muhammadu Buhari came, he showed disinterest in who becomes the Senate President.
Can work with anybody.
And says he can work with anybody.
Including armed robbers.
And now, what have we seen? What we have seen very clearly is that this Senate, there is no way anything tangible is going to be achieved with them. In a Senate where you have people who are of so many diverse, questionable characters and all that, out of the 90 senators that we have,
109.
109. We will be lucky if we will have 5-10 who are clean. Or who are tolerable, who have integrity. Majority of them,
10?
Majority of
people
them
are very generous.
Are fraudsters. You remember there was at the one, I think that's the 7th or 6th Senate now, a former Deputy Inspector General of Police, who stood up in the Senate and said that is surprised that in the
former AIG,
exactly
he repeated it. He said it twice. It was the second time that they now suspended it.
Exactly that in this same house that
he had someone that was in his detention.
That time, I think he spoke too soon. The present Senate is worse than the one that he was condemning.
Of course, I agree.
So how do you now want such a people? What has clearly happened now is that these people are blackmailing us. They are blackmailing Nigeria, holding us to ransom.
Tunde, it's like forget DSS reports, forget anything. It's as if this particular Senate, they've shown that they are interested. They are like interested party in the fight against Ibrahim Mustafa Magu?
Well, I think what we should know is that last week I said something here. On the day Nigerians elected President Muhammad Buhari, they also elected a set of 109 lawmakers that will make his governance impossible. The 8th Senate we have today in this country is the worst in the history of Africa, not only even Nigeria. When we had senators in the First Republic, those who even had Standard 6, they are much more intelligible, much more brilliant, much more visionary, much more committed, much more patriotic than these rascals that are in the National Assembly. And it is unfortunate that 3 things have failed. President Muhammad Buhari failed in terms of vision by declaring that he can work with anybody. Anybody that lacks vision is the only person that can say that thing. Number 2, the APC, a party that gave us this government, has failed in holding itself for internal democracy. The third option left for Nigeria now is that we must come together and decide whether we need 2 chambers of the National Assembly. I think the only thing we have now is a unicameral legislation. Let the 774 local governments you have in Nigeria, let them send people to a National Assembly. And that one will be, the 369 people we have in the House of Rep is representative enough of the 774 local governments we have in Nigeria to make laws for Nigeria. Okay. Let me tell you something. The money that we spent on Senate is enough to fund all the primary schools in Nigeria to high standard. All primary schools in Nigeria. It's enough. The money we spent on this, 36 million on each of 109 senators per month. Multiply that one by 12. 3 reps. It's enough to fund primary education in Nigeria without
for sitting for 181 days.
For 181 days out of 365 days.
All right, let me quickly take this commercial break, and we're still looking at the rejection of the nominees by the Senate. Will come back after this time out. Please don't go away. Welcome back. I think our Twitter handle is buzzing and everybody wants to react to this particular topic. And we just saw it some minutes before we entered the studio. And when we got the news at our 4 o'clock bulletin, I was like, wow, that's because we know the importance of, these resident electoral commissioners and INEC nominees, so that we'll start having election. The next one is in Anambra State. Let me quickly take Idris from Oyo State. Thank you for joining us, Idris.
Good evening.
Good evening, Idris.
Yeah.
Go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, see, I always enjoy the way you guys are analyzing all the time. I think the problem we have in Nigeria, is this. Until the day people will stand up and go to that Senate, log all of them out. When I was looking at this man dancing today, and I was asking myself, does he know what he's doing at all?
I wish my producer could get the picture of his outfit today. I don't know. Jide?
Yeah, well, I saw it, and then you see, it's an embarrassment. It's a real embarrassment. And why is the cause of all those things? You cannot come to power and tell the whole world, I can work with everybody.
Thank you, Idris. Thank you for your contribution. Jide, Senegal went the way to cancel bicameral legislation. I don't know. We have 360 House of Representative members, and we have 109 senators. So 469 overfed lawmakers we have in our hand. Now, is it possible? What are those things we can put in place to go the Senegal way? Is it possible?
Yes, the president will show leadership in this critical hour, and he presents it to Nigerians. I'm telling you,
get a referendum.
I'm telling you that majority of Nigerians do not think that we need a 2-chamber legislature. We spend billions and billions of naira servicing the luxuries of these individuals and 2,000 aides. Because some of them have 3 aides at the expense of the taxpayers. We just can't continue. You can say, oh, 774 local governments in Nigeria, we need representation, diverse, vast representation. But we don't need that number to be able to have our people represented in the National Assembly. We don't need it.
I think the House of Rep looks more like it.
Yes.
In terms of
Oh,
spread.
it will just, if the template will just have to change. The delineation will change.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a situation whereby we can actually have maybe just 360 representatives across board, and we will have one house. Senegal has shown the way. Countries that are serious, that are not wasteful, they know what to do. We don't need two houses. We don't need it. We don't need it. The question to ask is, okay, if going by our population, we need all of this, then what about the Americans?
Yeah.
How many people are in the national legislature in America?
In the Congress.
And the population of America is bigger than ours. How many people are in the national legislature in Indonesia? The Indonesian population is higher than
China.
ours.
I'll be India.
Yeah, or even India or Brazil. So why are we doing this to ourselves? And we put jesters there, you know, feeding fat at our expense, achieving nothing, shutting down anything that the president comes forward with. They are exploiting the situation that we have a president who is aloof. He doesn't want to meddle in these affairs. Naturally,
But it's sabotaging his government.
no, but at
counterproductive.
some point, you see, the president is stubborn and extremely difficult to get to change his ways. But at some point, he will see clearly that his strategy is not working.
This guy is
People,
him.
you heard what that guy
2
said.
years.
You have what that guy said. Ali Mekena was his funny name. He said that Magu is harassing us because we rejected him. All these things are pre-planned.
Definitely.
They are pre-planned. And the bulk of the people causing this trouble are in the APC.
APC.
That
Yes,
says
sir.
a lot about the party.
About the party.
It says a lot about the party. So I'm wondering what the national chairman of the party is doing when he cannot ensure discipline and cohesion in his party. There are, in at least 10 states of Nigeria, the party is divided. You can't achieve cohesion. People are doing what they like. In the National Assembly, it's your own members that are harassing your president, that have constituted themselves into tin gods, and you can't do anything about it.
The minority leader, Senator Akpabio, talking against
Yes,
Exactly.
so it's the APC
The APC is a house. APC is a house that is divided against itself.
That's why someone said
the House
that.
of Rep. You
that
hardly see
causing
Leo
the
Obo
wahala.
talking against.
That's where someone said that there's only one opposition party, and that opposition party
Is
is
APC.
APC.
Is the APC itself? Is it that they have not got used to being in power or what?
No, this is that they cannot find. And when we said that some of the people in the party do not deserve to be in the party, they say, oh, we cannot send people away. We can't send people away. You bring all kinds of people into the party. It's
What
like,
do Yoruba
it's like
call
you say,
Kanemero?
It's like someone who carries a log of wood,
Yes.
ant infested wood, and you are taking it home.
And we are asking how lizard gets into
Get into your house.
So the president made a mistake from the beginning, and he has not made any serious
Any
effort
serious
to
effort
redress.
to address that
correct
thing.
it.
You
That's
said
the
you
thing.
said you instituted a case against them for forgery, a badly handled case. In the end, you had to back out. That's not how these guys. If you want to fight these guys, you must be ready. These half-hearted measures will not work. And we are now making Bukola Saraki look like phantom.
Honestly.
Well,
Yinka,
Yes.
now they are giving the president is like an ultimatum. I think this thing is like 2 weeks. That Mr. President, if you don't remove Ibrahim Magu outrightly, because I keep reminding people that while they rejected him the second time, they said he should stop acting as EFCC chairman. I remember saying that thing, but a lot of people lost sight of that. But with this action now, they are saying, Mr. President, give us another nominee and stop this man from parading himself as
Now,
EFCC chairman.
Where in the Constitution is it written that if the president nominates a candidate for a particular office and you reject him twice or thrice or 4 times, you can shut down the country? Is there anything there in the all they can do, which I've said so before, is that they close their eyes. Anything that concerns EFCC, they will not accept the vote, like giving it a vote. You remember during the time of Jonathan, that was what they did with this woman, the woman in Arumaote. That was what they did. That they
Security and State Commission.
Exactly. That they refused to accept accept the budget or to accept the budget for the SEC. So now, if it is not that they have some business that as they vowed, which the Senate president was quoted as saying, which he denied, that he is going to shut down this government. If that is not their aim, why should you, because of one single man, shut down the whole Senate and blackmail the president, blackmail Nigerians, blackmail the people who voted for you, and say that if you don't change this man, we are not going to do anything?
Do you advise Mr. President to just drop it and just drop Ibrahim Magu, get another nomination, and let's move on?
Well, I think
we dance to the tune for peace.
Except
to dance to the tune of the
there's
senators.
a saying in my place that the leaf that is dancing on the surface of the water, the drummer is beneath the water. Perhaps there is something the members of the National Assembly know about the president, which they are using to hold him to ransom, that we don't know. Because the president of Nigeria is the most powerful president in the world. We are not saying he should not respect the constitution, but I have not seen a president who is being frustrated right, left, and center by his very people in his own party, and he has not been able to do anything. I have not seen a president who is not proactive enough to know that a 21st century Nigeria is not 1984, where military rule. But by and large, I think the problem with the president is that he's not being realistic. He owes Nigeria one thing. He was elected at the age of 72 to lead Nigeria, to change Nigeria for better. But if he could not do it, the only thing he can do for us is to accept the inevitable. We have to restructure Nigeria. If he leaves power in 2 years' time and he leaves Nigeria like this, Nigerians will have wasted the whole time going out to vote for him. Because he has not done anything
Kabir is calling us from Kwara State. Thank you, Kabir.
Good evening.
Good evening, Kabir.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead to your contribution.
Yes. What I want to say is about the issue of Senate rejecting Magu. Hello?
Yes. Kabir, go ahead.
Yes. What I want to say is Bukola Saraki, the Senate president, is going behind all these things that is happening in the Senate. And the president has made the mistake for the first time for him to allow Bukola Saraki to emerge as the Senate president. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. Go ahead.
All right. Yes. The president has made that mistake initially, and I don't see anything that the president is doing for him to redress or address that issue. They have a lot of cases against the Senate president, the forgery issue, the asset declaration.
Kabir, it was your former state governor. Why are you speaking against him? This is Kwara State.
He's not my former governor because he did not represent my local government. He did not do anything.
Where are you from, Kabir?
I'm from Kayama local government.
Okay, Kayama. Okay.
Yes. Come and see our road. We don't have anything to offer. The governor did not, the former governor of Kwara State did not do anything to us. And Fatah is there messing up to now.
Thank you, Kabir, for your contribution. I'll quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout, and we are looking at the face-off between the legislature and the executive in Nigeria. Judy, the president should just let go and give us another nominee for peace to reign between the executive and satisfy the legislature. And why Magu?
I think that from the beginning, the president made a mistake, even with Magu, because he should have nominated Magu. He should have presented his name earlier. you did why they had to wait and wait, although we know it is a style to delay. That's why up to now Kogi still doesn't have a minister.
A minister.
Almost after
You know,
2 years.
It is inconceivable that you had Magu in acting capacity for that long. Enough time for him to step on so many toes, or people will eventually have to confirm him.
Which happened
During that time, even the Saraki's wife was also investigated. You know, so all of these things you saw, and Dino played the role of the bodyguard that day. You know, we have a situation in which even now, by his probe of the Paris Club, whatever, even governors are up in arms.
That is,
and I'm aware that some governors have even brought out money
to the National Assembly
yes,
members
to ensure that, look, this guy is not
frustrate
confirmed.
the nomination
to
of
ensure
Magu.
that, yes. So if he had been cleared from the beginning, you know, if they had submitted this, now when the vice president tried to do it, some elements within the presidency whom we suspect are working hand in hand with some of the most corrupt Nigerians alive made it impossible for the Senate, for that official transmission of letter to the Senate on Magu to happen. That was when the president was out of the country. So this opposition to Magu's emergence, which some people in Buhari's kitchen cabinet have actually worked hard to ensure that it's frustrated, had begun a long time ago. Because you can see clearly that that particular move was frustrated from within the presidency. They didn't have to do a funny DSS letter alleging all kinds of funny things, that, you know, allegations that can't stand the test of time. But they made sure that the vice president's attempt to have him confirmed did not work, even when the president was not in Nigeria. So all along there were individuals that I believe now to be corrupt and working at cross purposes with the cross purposes with the president's desire to fight corruption. But they are the people that he sees when he wakes up. They are the last people that he sees when he's going to bed. They are right there. So they are eternally opposed to Magu's emergence as EFCC boss. But the way things are now, I don't know. The president has suddenly made it difficult for me to predict him. This is a man that I had known for years. I could tell people that he would do this. But the kind of deterring and unfathomable weakness that I'm seeing lately, honestly, if you told me a few years ago, I would say, no. It's impossible for it to happen. So I don't even know what his next line of action will be. Somebody told me a story. I don't know whether it's true. He said even when that last minute funny letter from the DSS is actually the same allegations recycled. But they wanted Nigerians to be, and I saw the Senate spokesman Sabi talking absolute rubbish that this is a new and that the new DSS report has vindicated us. What is new there? It's the same allegations recycled and put in different language. We are not fools. We are not fools. So Sabi was deceiving himself. He's deceiving himself and advertising himself as a practiced liar by telling us that, oh, it's a new, those new allegations have vindicated. Vindicated who? Vindicated liars like you. No, we are not fools as Nigerians. We could see clearly that it's the same thing that they are talking about. Now, we have a situation in which you don't know whether the president will represent him. If I were in his shoes, I will represent him. I will represent him. So let us see, when push comes to shove, Nigerians, look, the president can get Nigerians to rally around him, and that National Assembly will be encircled by Nigerians. Angry Nigerians can encircle that place. You see, the president just does not want to use power in the way that an Obasanjo will have used it. Because look, as president, you are still in control of the power of coercion. So if the people are behind you, a rally will take place, people will go and surround the National Assembly. And this nonsense will stop, because when they see the blazing eyes of Nigerians, they will know that people are against the antics.
Mr.
It will even
Somebody yesterday described corruption as the 37th states in Nigeria. That normally 36 states, that corruption is 37, and it's the richest. And it cuts across. And with this action of the National Assembly, now we know that nobody is hiding that Ibrahim Magu, beyond, they said he's not, what the DSS reports, I've forgotten how they finished that report, that he failed the integrity tests.
Yeah. Who is there in that Senate
from the amount of
that can tell me or that can tell Nigerians that he has not failed that integrity test worse than
they are failing that integrity test every day.
Every day, every moment.
They are failing that integrity test.
With forged, well, the university has confirmed that he's a graduate there or whatever.
Is it Dino? He claimed to have 70
Is it not a white beater? Is it not a white beater?
Is that not a matter of failing in integrity?
Did you not see how he was described? Did you not see how Dino was described? Where did they describe him again?
So now, how do you now want such people to be the one to sit down and say integrity. Somebody has no integrity?
Wonders shall never cease.
You see, for me, if the day the president backs down and fails to submit Magu again, then I know that
he's been blackmailed.
I know that
this is blackmail.
That's the end of it.
You don't have to succumb.
Exactly, it's complete blackmail.
President Buhari, when he was younger, did not succumb to British blackmail. Over the
exactly. Why should it be just millions?
He stood up against a superpower.
Exactly.
He didn't succumb to blackmail.
So why would
is it today that
all these small people in the Senate, moral decadence,
moral Lilliputians in the Senate, are they the people now that will now make him suddenly
come back and say
climb down?
So they ultimately now. The president is so much looking forward to, there's some things that we want to give the National Assembly that we have to pass through the National Assembly. We want to collect loan, we want to do a lot of things, and the National Assembly is like strategic to the success of this administration. If it doesn't budge, if the president does not change Magu, that means subsequent bills, subsequent things, we might have problem.
Well, I think from all indications, it is only somebody is willfully blind who fail to see that the presidency has been ambushed by the National Assembly. And the rejection of Magu and the insistence of the National Assembly that it should not be presented or it should be sacked is an indication that every other program of the government is going to be rejected.
Okay, let me quickly take Bolaji Adebi. Bolaji Adebi is the deputy editor of the This Day newspaper and he served in the last administration. Bolaji, many thanks for calling us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Go ahead to your contribution quickly.
I've been enjoying this program.
Yeah.
All those guys, they are my very good friends. Well, I've been listening to them. I can see that a lot of you are very angry. I are showing a lot of emotions.
Yes, it's our right to
it's okay. But what I'd like to point out is first of all is this: we need to understand that the legislature also have their own responsibilities within the Constitution. They have their functions that have also been spelled out clearly in the Constitution. And I think each time they make a decision, we need to worry about whether they have exercised, their powers, rightly under the Constitution. The Senate has, the power to do what they have done in relation to the nomination of Magu. The Senate have rejected Magu, and I think that it is within their powers, within the Constitution, to so do. Now, if the executive, is not happy with that, there are many things it could do. Now, it has rejected Magu once. First of all, sent him in, he was rejected, and then they sent him in the second time. The executive negotiates with the Senate. But to think that the executive can bully the Senate and get Magu through will not be correct.
Thank you, Bolaji. Thank you, Bolaji. Yes, we have to wrap up on this. I guess we have to discuss some other things. But finally,
we have not said that the executive should bully. That's not what we are saying. And Obasanjo presented Yemagechuku four times before they eventually passed him.
So Bolaji is giving us an option. He said the executive should negotiate.
And we are just correcting something. Yeah. There is nowhere here that we said they can bully to pass to. We are saying that the president can choose to let him continue to act. We are not saying that he should bully the Senate and get the Senate to pass him. No, we know that Senate, if Magu suddenly becomes Jesus Christ today, you know, with all the characters of Jesus Christ, they will still not, because it will amount to suicide, a kind of
class
it's not,
suicide
for them.
So they allow somebody to open their yansh.
That they know is going to deal with them. I mean, it's self-interest. That's what is called enlightened self-interest. You can't work against your own interest.
I think it is apparent that if the president could not act and could not do any other alternative, he should tell Nigerians so that Nigerians can repossess their freedom from the National Assembly.
Okay, let's see who blinks first.
Yes.
So, with the die has been cast now, in 2 weeks' time, let's see if President Muhammadu Buhari is going to renominate another person as the chairman of the Economic and Financial Commission, or is going to stick his ground by renominating, presenting Ibrahim Mustafa Magu.
He doesn't have to represent. He doesn't just act, continue to act.
He should
just continue to act.
Still ahead on Journalist Hangout, Lagos inaugurates Neighborhood Watch, creates 7,000 jobs. We'll be right back after this time out. Stay with us. Governor Akinwumi Ambode of Lagos State is one of the few governors who have been in the news for the right reasons lately. He has been credited with inaugurating 114 inner city roads across Lagos, simultaneously installing street lights and boosting the nightlife of Lagos. Purged the state of its notorious traffic snare, among others. Between 2015 and 2016, it donated equipment worth billions of naira to the Nigerian police and has since maintained that the security of lives and property is not negotiable. Beyond this giant strides, the governor recorded another first when he inaugurated the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps with 177 saloon cars, 377 motorcycles, 377 helmets, 4,000 bicycles, lots of metal detectors, and created employment for more than 7,000 people. That's the most interesting part. 7,000 people have been taken out of the unemployment market. He said the corps will not compete with the police, but rather complement them by providing useful intelligence, crime prevention. Isn't this worthy of emulation by other states? Jide, we might not have gotten to having state police, but Lagos states they've shown that look, they are always a step ahead of everybody. Yes. Because when Bola Tinubu remodeled RRS, as at that time, since till today, we still see RRS. They are better equipped than the regular police we see in Lagos. Yes. They have bulletproof jackets and everything.
In South Africa.
All right, you see. So this neighborhood watch, they are not armed, but we need people that understand where are the hideouts of the area boys, who knows this, who can do this, who has the tendency to give intelligence to police. How will this boost security in Lagos?
Well, tremendously, it will boost security, and I think we need to give credit to the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, because this came out of a personal bill that he sponsored. He sponsored this bill and saw it through. He pushed through for this bill to become law, because you see, nobody can know a place better than people who are resident there. You bring in policemen from Katsina, from other places. They will spend some time trying to understand Lagos. During that time, crime there could be a spike in crime. But you have a situation in which these guys are Lagosians, they live with us, so they know where the bad boys are. And the governor said something that, look, issues like, mopping up of weapons, that they will be able to assist the police because they will know where weapons are kept. There are many, so they will be spread all across the state, to sniffing for information about the bad boys
around the area.
The population of Lagos is so large that it is difficult for conventional police to achieve the aim of securing the state.
If Lagos is 20 million today and they're saying we have 30,000 policemen guarding us. It's become extremely
very
difficult.
The point I want to make is now every hour it is projected that 19 new persons enter Lagos every hour. And most of them don't go back.
19.
So we have an explosion in the population of Lagos. And that means that crime rate will go up. So you must do something about it. You cannot wait endlessly. So I think that this is a very good initiative. 177 cars, 377 motorcycles, you know, and 4,000 bicycles. It means that they will be able to penetrate the inner recesses of this city.
Yes.
So it's very significant. It's so strategically thought out. And I think that this is a governor who is moving in the right direction. It is there for everyone to see. When you work for the people, the people will see it clearly. And nobody will be able to cover up your achievement. It's just not possible.
Yiga, this was the first challenge that Governor Akinwumi Ambode had. And this was the first law that a lot of people came out and they were criticizing him, immediately got to the office. By that time, you could see, you know, even traffic hold up in traffic, people coming out to rob at strategic points and everything. As at that time, a lot of people were saying that no, it might not be up to this task, but from the strength he has gained by, you know, preparing these military police guys and to add 7,000 people to this.
You know what? At the time it started, it's like people thought he was not prepared for it. But there's a Yoruba proverb that says when you see a ram that moves back, he goes back to gather strength. That is exactly what I think the governor was doing, and he has done now. What he has done now,
momentum by the day.
What he has done now is very, very good, and it came at the very right time. Right time in the sense that we have at the center the same party that is at the state level. You remember that when last month started, it was a battle that
between the federal government and former minister Adesanya Ogunleye.
Now that they were militia, this, that.
Now every state is copying last one.
Yes, so we have trace in
If you go to Kano, there is Karota.
Exactly. So now,
with this one, transport
okay,
authority.
let me take, Joshua is calling us from Adamawa State. Thank you for joining us, Joshua.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, gentlemen in the house there.
Yeah, go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's just this. I want to contribute to this case about EFCC, Magu, and.
I know that's what you're interested in.
If people are saying, because I heard the other man saying that the Senate has the constitutional power to reject and approve somebody that is sent to them, especially in this case of Magu. But also we know that the president also has power to allow him to remain acting until God knows when. So if we are saying that the Senate has power to reject him, we should also know that the president has power to make him to allow him to continue to act until God knows when. So let us not be sentimental about this issue. So the president should allow him to continue to act until when God knows when. So that is my take, and I want to thank the governor of Lagos, Ambode, for his work in Lagos State, especially on this issue of security, that what he has done. I wish him more grace on his health base. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua from Adamawa
As I was
State.
saying, Lagos is dictating the pace. In the next few months or year, you see other states will begin to do like this because it is not in competition. He said it clearly that it's not in competition with the police. That is why they are not armed. While I was on my way to this place, I saw a lot of their cars being distributed and they were moving
the local government.
Exactly.
Yes.
So now,
I think we have three per local government.
What is there now is that people will begin to see that there is no way you can monitor people except people who live in the area. And just as Jide said, you cannot bring a man from Taraba to come and police Lagos who has never lived in Lagos. What does he know about Lagos? You ask him, you are going to Obalende, the man is facing Ikeja. How does he know? But in that situation, you have these are people who already know the area, and I believe they were all recruited from the areas where they are going to work. and their business is especially to help the police in intelligence gathering. So it is a good move, and I hope that people will begin to see that the problem is us, not the people.
Taiwo is calling us from Lagos.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Taiwo. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I am really enjoying your program.
Thank you,
So
Taiwo.
I usually watch it in the early morning because most of the time I'm not always at home in the afternoon like this.
Oh,
But I
Taiwo,
want
you're
to
talking about the
comment on
repeats.
this issue of, hello?
Yes, go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I want to comment on this issue of Saraki. It's so unfortunate, so unfortunate that we have this kind of characters in the Senate. But I think if I were, I don't know what I would do. I will put the I'll put them on acting capacity indefinitely. So they will come to power. They will fight between each other.
Okay, thank you for your contribution, Taiwo. So, Tunde, what we are looking at here now, we are looking at a situation whereby if other state replicates this, in no time, we might be talking about pushing for a legislature to just establish that state police. Because I know that this is a big step towards having that.
I think, number one has to praise Governor Ambode for being courageous enough and for displaying enough capacity to do what is right at the right time. Now, one of the evils of military government in Nigeria is that the constabulary that was used in the First Republic, exactly this one, they don't carry arms, they don't do anything but to monitor people, so that whenever there's any violence somewhere, they will report to the police. They don't arrest people, they don't even carry guns. But so it is a replica of what you had then. That was when in those days, police were effective. But today, compare 30,000 policemen to 20 million citizens, highly mobile citizens of Lagos. I think Governor Ambode has done the right thing. And I think neighboring states that are very close to Lagos, that has geographical congruity to Lagos, should also copy, so that the stress and pressure on Lagos could be reduced, because there's constant pressure on Lagos. All other economic centers in Nigeria have collapsed, and that is why there's much pressure on Lagos. We have to commend Governor Ambode. We also have to ask him to continue using Lagos State's resources to guarantee safety and security for the people of Lagos.
Jide, look at the role civilian JTF they are playing in Borno State. Look at they're like compass to the military that they brought from all formations and everything. And look at the role they are playing in the Northeast today.
Yeah, they are doing a fantastic job, and Governor Kashim Shettima pays them some stipend, to keep the boys together. And some of those boys have actually been recruited into the army. I was so happy when the Chief of Army Staff officially got some of those boys recruited into the army. In most of the communities, they are the ones who check vehicles. You see, soldiers will stand just a few meters behind them. They will be the ones to check the car. So they lay down their lives. So many of those civilian JTF have been killed. So they check the vehicles and they suspect because they are familiar with this. So they know quickly.
They know the visitors,
they know early enough when you are trying to commit a crime or maybe to blow up an area. So at that point, they will apprehend you. They've actually been of tremendous assistance to the military. Even sometimes the military, they will take the military to dangerous areas, identify the boys. That's why the heart of Maiduguri is safe, Maiduguri town, because the civilian JTF identified the bad boys in town and handed them over to the military. If we even watch the battle for Giwa Barracks, the civilian JTF apprehended a lot of the Boko Haram boys who are trying to flee and handed them over to the police. So I believe that this new security outfit in Lagos can actually play the same role.
Well, Tunde, I want to thank you. Lanka Igule, I want to thank you.
It's a pleasure
and
being here.
We started the party. Today is actually Babajide's birthday. I wish you many happy returns, a long life, prosperity.
Thank you so much.
And the value you've added on to Journalist Hangout, it's something that I cannot quantify and I cannot measure. But I just pray that the Almighty God continue to uphold,
do it together.
And strengthen you.
Amen.
And you want to say something?
I'm sure the party continues after now. Many happy returns.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Many happy returns of the day.
Thank you.
You want to say happy birthday to Babajide Kolade Otitoju. He has been the backbone of Journalist Hangout. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11, and you can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Ayodele Ozubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.